Welcome to Travel Chicks, where we talk travel, transformation, and inspiration. My name's Melissa. I'm the founder of Travel Chicks, and I want to let you know that it may be me, it may be one of our other travel chicks, but welcome on board this adventure. Please, if you love what you hear, like it. Leave a review and share this with your friends. We need to inspire more people to create their own travel story. Welcome back. We are live today for another episode of Travel Chicks, where we help you find your flow and say, yes, let's go. And today's guest, I am so excited because I've been following her on Instagram for quite some time. And I got to say, your husband, Christelle, is like an incredible photographer. And how amazing that you two can be experiencing the world as you do together. So how about you share with everybody who you are and what you and your husband are up to in the world?
Thank you, Melissa. I'll let Dan know. He'll be really happy about that. Sometimes he takes pictures in a very, say, nonchalant and even sometimes angry manner because he's like, I can't take it anymore. That's too many pictures because we're always trying to get the perfect pictures, as you know. It's all about the perfect picture. And so he'll be really happy to know that his hard work is paying off and people are appreciating what he's doing. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, yeah.
So my name is Christelle. I'm a French-born citizen, and I moved to Australia about 8 years ago. So I was born in the Alps, and a few years later, my parents decided to move to Corsica. So I don't know if you've heard about Corsica. It's a beautiful island in the Mediterranean Sea. So it's literally between France, the south of France, and Sardinia. It's got a very big Italian influence. That's why you can see looking at me that I look a bit more Italian than French. Mm-hmm. And so I grew up on this island for about 15 years, and the island is beautiful, but it's quite small. So I've always known that when I would be grown up and able to leave Corsica, I'd want to explore the world, meet people from different cultures, and just explore a little bit of our beautiful planet. So when I got the chance, when I was studying in France, in Toulouse, I signed up for an exchange program in Cincinnati, in the US, where I spent 6 months. It was a very, very different experience from what I was used to. I'd say the weather is probably pretty similar to what you've got in Alberta. Mm-hmm. So I'd never seen the snow, literally. In Corsica, it doesn't really snow. It's quite warm all year round. So here I am, 22 years old, landing in a field full of snow for a bright new adventure. So it was really, really good. I was really happy. Started to speak a different language. I was really the first time I was using English, to be honest, because in French we're not really big on languages. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely loved it. I made friends very quickly, and I spent a really good 6 months. So then when I got back to France, I decided to just pack my bag and go for a road trip in Southeast Asia. So I traveled in Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia. And really, I started to suffer from wanderlust case, literally. Every time I had time off, I had to book a trip. It was like my life started to revolve pretty much around all those trips being booked in advance. And then I had an amazing opportunity to move to Australia for an internship first. And then they offered me a job for a couple of years. So I decided to stay because Sydney is a beautiful, beautiful place. It's very warm, which is what I like. Mm-hmm. It's got beautiful beaches and the people are lovely. So I was really happy to stay here. And that's where I met Dan. And Dan also loves to travel to tropical places. So we decided to set up the Tropical Travelers to share our tropical adventures. And over the last 2 years, we've started to become a bit more aware of the environmental impact we're all having and how bad it is for the planet. So we've also started to change our ways of living, our habits, try to be a bit more eco-friendly in our daily lives. And so besides sharing trips about all the places we go to, we also try to help people, guide them through their eco-friendly journey if they're keen to make a change, you know. So this is what we're about, really, eco-friendly travel as much as possible, because we all know that it's hard. When you fly, you're already polluting quite a lot. But then if we can just try to offset this in our daily basis, then that's better than nothing, I suppose.
Wow, what an incredible story, and what a wealth of like worldly knowledge that you have under your belt. It's so incredible. And I'm really curious, what inspires you to travel? Was it that first trip that you took to Cincinnati, or what was it that inspires you to travel?
I think it came from the fact that I was stuck on an island for so long. So until I was pretty much 20, I didn't leave the island. So I didn't even have a passport. So I think really what inspires me to travel is the thirst for adventure, the excitement, the joy of discovering a new land, a new culture, new people. And I find my inspiration mainly in books. So it happens that maybe I read a book about Ethiopia, or I don't know, lost cities in the jungle of Guatemala, and all of a sudden, if the description are very compelling, I want to book a flight over there. So I take books, and also, of course, travel magazines. Social media is a big one. I'm always on Instagram looking at new places, and you know, the visuals are pretty compelling sometimes. So and also chatting to other travelers, and just simply discussing with other people about their experiences.
Mm-hmm. And I think you kind of answered this question as well a little bit. And how do you think that travel can transform individuals?
Yeah, so I'll take myself as an example, but chatting with a lot of friends that travel, I think we're all pretty much similar in that instance. I think traveling changes your outlook on life, literally. It widens your mind, makes you more tolerant. It also makes you more appreciative of what you have. I think it personally makes me reassess constantly my values, my way of living, my way of thinking. You know, you go to third world country and you think, oh, well, my concerns really aren't concerns. Seeing how people live somewhere else. And what I've noticed is usually, I mean, this is my personal experience, but people that have less are happier. So I really think it helps, put things into perspective, be more empathetic of other cultures as well, try to understand others a bit better, and maybe make us a bit less self-centered and a bit more aware of, you know, the fact that we need to look at the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. And to me, you know, traveling requires courage, adaptability, tolerance. So if you are able to develop those skills, you'll be really happy traveling, and you'll really learn and develop yourself. So that's how I think travel really changes your life. It helps you, think about the bigger picture and reassess your values constantly.
I couldn't agree with you more. I know for myself, being a single parent right now, the amount of travel that myself and my toddler have done in her short 3 years so far living on this planet is really teaching her the skills of how to adapt amidst chaos and how to adapt amidst like change. And we all know that a lot of these real life skills that we need to conquer our dreams and our goals and all of these things are not taught in school. And I fully believe, like some of the words you used, like traveling takes courage. Imagine me as a single mama traveling with a carry-on, 2 carry-ons, and
I was thinking about that when you said it.
Like I as we trek through the airport, our last trip we took, I had a 40-pound bag on me. I had her stroller, I had her, and she's very active. So we're running around, and it's like, this is just a comedy show in itself. But how many parents don't even decide to say yes to go and travel because it's such a hassle?
It
Yeah.
is, yeah,
What is
yeah.
waiting on the other side, even for yourself, traveling to all these incredible places and countries? Look how much knowledge you've gained. Look how much insight you've gathered, and this worldly perspective that really has had the power to transform the way you see life, the way that you're starting to live your life. I mean, you said a big focus now is going green, and how can we contribute in a positive way to the environment? Well, that probably wouldn't have happened if you didn't start traveling.
No, and you can see the difference with people who unfortunately don't have the opportunity to travel or just don't want to do it, and just want to stay in their comfort zone. I connect way less with these people because you can see that they're still very not narrow-minded, but they're very self-centered, and so
Mhm.
all the things happening around don't matter that much because they're very focused on their lives and what matters to them right now at the moment, without trying to explore what's out there and what else they could do for everyone around them. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think traveling is the best school of life, really. As you said, for your daughter, it's just perfect. I think it complements perfectly the academic learnings. It's your on the field practice.
Mhm. Big time. So tell me this, with all your traveling that you do, what is that number one thing that you will not leave home without?
Yeah, so it took me a while to when you asked this question before. It took me a while. I think it's a book. I wouldn't live without a book because basically I get caught in the busy days, the daily routine, and I don't really have time to zone out to read a proper adventure book. I really like adventure books. So to me, traveling time most of the time equals reading time. I like to pack my days with activities because I have a big fear of missing out. So usually what I do is I read during the travel. So on the plane, living in Australia, usually everywhere I go involves an 8, 9, 10 hour flight minimum. So that's a good way to read a book. On the bus, on the boat, anywhere really where I've got downtime, I'll just read.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Most of the time, we're expecting like a little gadget or a little, tool to use. So, you know what? It's so nice to hear the traditional book because
Yeah,
like, all of
good
us
old
are on our phones and our apps and all these things. So, like, reading a book. Wow. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And what advice could you give someone who may be afraid to travel or afraid to say, yes, let's go?
Yeah, so I think it's a human trait. It's a normal human trait to be scared and be willing to stay in our comfort zone. What I would tell them first is something that Paulo Coelho said is very true. I find routine can be lethal. So there's nothing that makes you richer than traveling. So I'd have two main advice for them. The first one would be that they have to understand that their trip won't necessarily go according to the plan, and that's okay. That's actually the beauty of it. That's where you end up meeting extraordinary people and trying delicious food that you wouldn't have tried otherwise because that's not what you had planned to do in the first place. And I'll give you a really good example. My sister and I, when we first traveled to Mexico, we flew from Cancun to Mexico DFA, and we landed at around 1 a.m. It was quite late in the night, and we didn't know that in Mexico, usually people get their family to come and pick you up at the airport. So literally in 10, 15 minutes, there's no one else left at the airport. It's pretty much the way it is over there. So, but we didn't know. So we were just waiting here for the bus, usually there's no problem with that. But then there's this old lady who was on our plane as well. And she came to us and she just asked us what we were doing here, just the two of us. And so we explained we're waiting for the bus to go to our hotel in the capital. And she said, you can't stay here. It's very dangerous for two girls, in the night waiting there.
Mm-hmm.
So she offered to wait with us until her daughter and her son-in-law came to pick her up, and then they literally drove us to our hotel. They were headed north, and our hotel was south. So I don't know how many kilometers they had to add to their trip, but that was quite a lot. And whilst we were waiting, because it was January, so it's a bit chilly in Mexico, because it's in high in altitude. The lady just offered, she lended her jacket to my sister, and we just thought, what an incredible gesture. Like, this old lady, she doesn't know us, she's driving us home, she's lending her jacket. And during the drive to the hotel, the daughter asked us if we were keen to visit Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Of course we were. So she told us about this trip she was organizing to a volcano called Toluda de Nevado, something like that. So it's quite close to Mexico City. She was organizing that trip with her friends on that weekend, and she said, "Give me your number, I'll come and pick you up. We'll just take you there, and you have a wonderful time." They were just really keen for us to, experience Mexico with the locals. So we said yes, of course. And she did come on the Saturday. She picked us up. We climbed the volcano with her friends, and afterwards they took us to some local Latin pop bar. And we sang, we danced with them all night long. That was just the best experience, and that was absolutely not expected. It wasn't planned at all. So that's the first advice I would give them. And then the second would be, if you're scared to travel, perhaps start traveling in your own country. Try to get used to, seeing different places, being out of your comfort zone. See what kind of travel you like to do. Do you like to organize your day? Do you like to be more chilled? Do you like to talk to people, or rather just do museums on your own? Like, what kind of, how do you like to travel? Mm-hmm. And then start maybe exploring neighboring countries before, taking the big jump and, traveling to the other side of the planet.
I love that. I love the idea of just take a small little trip where you live. Start getting yourself used to getting outside of the box, because so many people live inside this box that's usually your city. And, one question that I do have for you is, what is your favorite place that you've been to, and why?
So my favorite place I've been to is Mexico. And yeah. So by far, I've been to 25 countries plus, and it's still my favorite country. There's a few different reasons for that. First, the people, big time. They're incredibly friendly. I find them incredibly friendly. They're very big on social connection, social bonding. They're very big on family, community. They've got this very strong sense of community that I really like. I like the fact that they talk very loudly. They joke all the time. They dance. They sing. They radiate happiness, really, to me. And I've been to Mexico 3 times, and the 3 times I had the same experience. So pretty sure that would be like a national trait, really. Mm-hmm. They've also got incredible food. They've got incredible drinks. So they've got the typical, tequila and mezcal, but they also have wonderful wines, which I didn't know at first. And then there's the fact that it's a country full of history. The Museum of Anthropology in Mexico, DFA, is one of the best I've ever visited. It's full of Mayan jewels that have been retrieved from the pyramids. It's fascinating, really. And then the landscapes, the sceneries, the fact that I think they've got 40 plus different states, and they're also different. You go to Baja California, you've got the cowboy vibe and all the premium vineyards that are starting to develop over there. And then you go to Quintana Roo. It's more about lost cities in the jungle and immaculate beaches. You go to Chiapas. It's more about the indigenous vibe. So there's a very strong indigenous culture over there still, and very colorful colonial town. So it's all this variety that I really like about the country as well.
So interesting. Mexico is actually the place I took my daughter to last winter. We went down there to work, because obviously I can work anywhere as long as there's Wi-Fi. And I've never actually heard that somebody chooses Mexico as, their favorite place. And I agree. I went. So every year in Mexico, they have this large tourism event called Tianguis. And Tianguis actually showcases every single state inside Mexico. There was over 2,500 booths there with each state, in their garb, you know, the clothing, the nice clothing they wore and what they're known for. And even for me, I was so fascinated by every different aspect that Mexico has to offer. It was really cool. And I'm so intrigued that Mexico is your favorite place.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm so happy that you took the time to join us today. Now, the last piece, the most important piece, how can people get in touch with you? If, they want to check out the pictures that you guys post, if they want to get in contact with you, maybe they're visiting Australia and they're looking for a tour guide. How can people get in touch with you, Christelle?
I'd say Instagram is definitely the go-to. I'm on there 24/7. I love it. I'm always on the app. So if they write to me on Instagram, I'll get back to them. Please, people, if you want to visit Australia, write to me. Even if you don't want a guide, but you just need to know what are the best places to see, like depending on what you like to do, I'd be more than happy to help you. I know Australia is a faraway country, so people don't really put it on their list because, it's expensive, it's far. But it's incredible. You really need to come here. So yeah, get in touch if you're interested.
And what is your Instagram handle?
So it's The Tropical Travelers.
The Tropical Travelers. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much for
Thank you, Melissa, for having me. It was lovely. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yes, of course.